Welcome to How to Make the Perfect Iced Tea. Making your own iced tea is quite easy and so enjoyable. You have so many choices. You can use a straightforward green or black tea. Some great fruit infusions are out there. You can add your own fruit or other flavorings, some mint for example, or berries. Or you can just go with some prepared blends. We have a lot of great teas here for iced tea, and I'm going to show you a couple of methods today of how to make it. It's really quite easy. So what you could do is, if you don't have a infuser or kind of an iced tea brewer like this one here, you could just use our paper filters. Take a whole bunch of them and put them in any pitcher. Maybe add some sugar to it at the bottom, and then fill it up with boiling water. Fill it up halfway so the tea will infuse, and then you can add, once it's steeped, you can add some ice cubes and you're ready to go. With this little guy here, I really quite like those. They hold about 2 liters of water, so it's a good pitcher. We're going to make one of these. So the rule of thumb to make iced tea is to use about 15 grams for a liter. And that translates into about 2 heaping tablespoons. So I'm just going to give this guy, since it's about 2 liters, I'm going to give it about 4 tablespoons. If you're making a fruit tea, something like this for example, these are quite chunky, quite heavy, I would use an extra spoon. So just use maybe, instead of 4, just use about 5 for a 2 liter pitcher. So for 1 liter, just about 2 to 2.5. Now this guy is really easy. We're just going to close this. And I like to add some sugar. You could add brown sugar, white sugar, you could add agave syrup, you could add honey, really whatever you like. You can also add nothing, that's entirely up to you. For something like this, I just like to cover the bottom. So this may look like a lot to you, but it really isn't much in the scope of things. If you consider that a can of pop, for example, has 12 teaspoons of sugar, we're making about 8 to 10 portions on this here. So the first thing to do would be to add the boiling water. The reason for that is that the sugar needs to melt, and the sugar will melt best when it is indeed in some boiling water. So you can see this, how this dissolves already. And with this here, we'll just add a little bit more, and then add our infuser to it. Oh well, nothing is perfect. So give it about half. I would say that will be enough to cover all the leaves with the boiling water and to get your infusion. See how the brown sugar here really gives it some color already. So if you had white sugar, obviously wouldn't do that. And then infuse your tea leaves. We're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes on the green and black tea, and then take it out, add some ice to it, and we have a perfect iced tea. So we'll get back to this later. The other method of making iced tea is one of these guys. I really love those. They're great for parties or for the summer if you have a lot of people around. So simply and evenly garnished as well. This one is 10 liters, so what we want to consider here is the final amount of tea that ends up in here. So 10 liters, we need about 150 grams of tea. We're going to make a cranberry fruit tea. Really, really nice. It's got a beautiful fruity flavor to it. So again, same rule of thumb, we would like to add some sugar to this, kind of cover the bottom a little bit. And you can always add more later if you like. So we'll just do that. Since it's so much, I'm not going to count every tablespoon. So 100 grams is about a cup full of tea. So I'm going to add, since it's a fruit tea, a little bit more than a cup and a half. Again, this isn't rocket science. It's really quite simple. It's not going to make a big difference if you have a little bit, too less or too much. But at the end of the day, we're going to give the fruit tea infusion a little bit more time. It really can't be too much. You can steep it for 15 minutes, you can steep it for an hour. It'll just get better, it'll just get fruitier, since it's not a tea from the tea plant, like a green or black tea, and it won't get bitter. So this is a little bit slower here. If you had your kettle at home, I think you'd be done by now. But you get the idea. We're going to fill this about halfway to give the tea enough room to expand its flavor, and then come back to this in about 20 minutes. Alright then, through the miracle of modern technology, 20 minutes have passed. And about 10 minutes ago, we took out the infuser out of our iced tea pitcher here and filled it up with some ice and some water. So that's it, we're ready to go. And I'm going to pour us a little cup of that. So this is our green tea with grapefruit, delicious, little garnish in it, and we're ready to go. So really quite simple. What I like about making fresh iced tea again is you can control the sugar content in your tea, and there's so many flavors, and at the end of the day it's actually cheaper than buying juice. So this is the infusion that we've let steep for 20 minutes, our cranberry fruit tea. I didn't use any infusers or filters in here since we're making the whole big pitcher, and I find it quite easy to just pour the whole thing through a strainer, straight into here, and how easy is that? So here we go, and we have a beautiful dispenser of iced tea. That's chilling down now for a bit, and we can just put the rest of this in here, put this away, and give this a little stir here, and we're good to go. So let's have a beautiful chilled glass of freshly made iced tea from T Squared. Cheers, and thank you for joining me.